Good afternoon, church. Happy Sabbath. Some people say Adventism is too strict because we follow so many strict rules like the strict dieting, the frequent emphasis on end-time prophecy. But what is the most prominent thing they say? About the Sabbath, right? Which is one of the 10 Commandments. They focus so much on the strictness of our religion that they forget, or granted that they don't know, the whole reason behind it. This brings us to the fundamental belief number 19, law of God. I want to submit to you this evening that God's love is the foundation of the 10 Commandments. Why do you obey God's law? Is it because you love him or because you're afraid of the consequences? John 14 verse 15 says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." In the same way that God had love in his heart while giving us the 10 Commandments, we need to live out these commandments with love. God gave us an example of his love by sending his only begotten Son to die for our sins. In addition to that, Jesus lived his life on earth sinless, keeping his Father's commandments. What is the purpose of God's law? You ever heard the saying, your vertical relationship with God determines your horizontal relationships with others? The law reveals God's kind, loving, caring, forgiving, graceful character, and it teaches us how to be just like him, matter of fact how much we need him. The first 4 commandments teaches us how to love God, and the last 6 teaches us how to love others. When our vertical relationship with God is strong, our horizontal relationship with others will become stronger as well. Some people keep the commandments because they believe it is good works that will get you into heaven, or because some of them just don't want to burn in hell. But we need to keep God's commandments in the same love that God showed us. Romans chapter 3 verse 20 says, "Therefore, by the deeds of the law, no flesh will be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin." So let us look at this analogy. Think of the law like a mirror on your wall. If you have mud all over your body, the mirror cannot wash off the mud, but the mirror will just show you that you have mud on your body. In the same way, the law shows us our mistakes, but it cannot fix them. Hence the reason why the purpose of the commandments is to show us Christ's loving and caring character and give us a guide on how to be like him. In John chapter 5, we see the situation of Jesus healing on the Sabbath. The religious leaders were indignant about the fact that this man, who had been suffering with an illness for 38 years, was healed simply because, quote unquote, Jesus broke a commandment. In essence, Jesus showed that the commandments are meant to help us, restore us, and overall help us to live a life full of love. God's law is meant to bring restoration, life, and peace for humanity. It is made to bless people, not burden them. Consider this. Grace comes before obedience. God does not wait for us to become perfect before he loves us. 1 John chapter 4 verse 19 says, "We love him because he first loved us." We obey God because he has already shown his love through Jesus. Think of a fruit tree. The root is God's grace and salvation. The fruit is obedience. A tree doesn't produce fruits to become a tree. It produces fruits because it is already alive. In the same way, Christians don't obey to become saved. They obey because they have been saved and they are being changed by Christ. Salvation is a gift from God we cannot earn. But once we receive it, our lives should reflect Christ through obedience. So let me ask you this again. Why do you obey God's law? Is it because you love him or because you're afraid of the consequences? Thank you for your undivided attention.